When we are blessed with playing a part in a film, TV, or stage production, you've probably done most of the work when it comes to how you're going to play the part. After all, if you auditioned, you worked a lot on the qualities needed for the role. Maybe you were hired without an audition. That's even better, right? Clearly, someone else believes you are right for the role. Now, if you really wanted to dig deep into the character, then it's time to define your character. This is part 1 of Casting Actors Cast. Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of Casting Actors Cast. I'm casting partner Jeffrey Dreisbach with the McCorkle Group in New York. Hey, how are you? I hope you're having a good day. I'm having a really good day, and I'm really looking forward to sharing some information with you about this podcast called Defining Your Character. I think you're going to find a lot of information that you can really sink your teeth into. At least I hope that's the case. But first, this is that moment of the podcast where I get to say thank you so much for tuning in to Casting Actors Cast. I am so grateful for all of the responses, for the emails, for the support that you've been sending my way. It has been very, very rewarding. Now, if you are new to Casting Actors Cast, welcome aboard. I'm going to invite you to check out the website, castingactorscast.com. That's castingactorscast, all one word.com. There you're going to find some additional information about the podcast. You also can check out past episodes there. Also, there are some freebies, and I really legitimately mean these are free things. I'm not asking for anything other than your name and your email address. It's right on that landing page. It's called Dive into the Talent Pool, and all that does is give me your name and email address. By the way, I've said this many, many times, I don't do anything with that. I don't spam you. I don't send out alerts or sell your information or anything like that. It's just a way of me feeling that you are out there, that as long as there are actors out there really interested in what I have to say, I'm going to continue to do these podcasts, but I need to hear from you only because it makes me feel like it's worth my time and effort. I hope that makes sense. So you go to castingactorscast, all one word.com. Go to that place that says dive into the talent pool. You give me your name and email, as I said. But what's cool about that is you can ask me a question. You can write a comment. And when you submit that material, a free series of things will pop up. One is a book that I wrote called Conversation Pieces Out of the Studio, the voiceover workshop for professional actors. It's 100 pages of really cool information about doing voiceover work. It's totally free. Like I said, it's a PDF. You can put it on your reader. You can print out the whole damn book if you want. That's all just for you, just for letting me know that you're out there. Additionally, there's a free video. It's a 20-minute video called Casting Secrets, What They Don't Tell You. But guess what? I'm going to tell you the casting secrets in this absolutely free 20-minute video. So I hope you check all of those things out. My email address, castingactorscast@gmail.com. And you're going to find in the website and connecting with email that we are a group of like-minded individuals really interested in the nuts and bolts of what it is to be a professional actor. What are the tips, the hints, the suggestions, the support that actors might need in order to feel accomplished with their acting? And that's why I'm here. You know, I started as an actor. I made my living as an actor for 20 years in New York. And I haven't looked back. It's been a really amazing journey. And when the last Broadway show I appeared in closed, I was like, I'm not sure what I want to do. And I went to and was executive director of a broadcasting training school for a while. And then Pat McCorkle said, well, why don't you just come on in and help me out in the casting office just to see if you like it? And like I said, I haven't looked back. It's been really, really great. And now, of course, we're hearing that the Writers Guild strike looks like it might be reaching an agreement. My fingers are crossed because I think that that's going to continue to affect the actors that are currently on strike. And I hope that the Directors Guild contract has some parallels that can be very useful for the actors as well. And of course, the inside information that I'm getting is that even when the strikes are settled, and fingers crossed that that happens sooner rather than later, it's going to be quite a while before things get back up on their feet. After all, I don't think writers are just simply writing episodes at home and just doing that. I really believe that there's going to be sort of a period of adjustment as things slowly unroll and slowly get back to what we've been used to as far as film and television production is concerned. So that's something to keep in mind. It might even be after the first of this year, from 2023 to 2024. There may be a little bit of a gray area before you start getting the effects or feeling the effects of opportunities that are coming your way. All right, so this is Defining Your Character. This is part one of a two-part series. And I divided it up into two parts because one is really the student and how you can apply the information that I'm giving you today into the work of working on a character if you've been cast, or if you just simply want to stay sharp in terms of your work as an actor. Then part two, it's really the inside job. It's really much more about you and applying who you are into the character. And so that's why I divided this into parts. So in this part one, I think the best thing to do is to qualify some of these So I think here in part one, we're going to qualify some of the choices that you can make by dividing it into three separate categories. One is, of course, the physical decisions for your consideration when you're working on a role. And we're going to break down some of those physicalities that your character might be asked to play. The second one is, of course, mental attributes for the character. There are really some interesting terms that can help shape and define your character through mental attributes that the character possesses. And then number three, emotional range mapped out for clarity. The range of emotions that you experience during the course, or your character experiences during the course of this storytelling, is really vital so that you have an idea about where you need to go emotionally and where the character is emotionally. But these are all based on attributes and qualities that the character possesses. All right, so let's take a look, first of all, at the physical characteristics of a character. When you read a script, when you read a scene, whether it's a cold read or whether you've been asked to audition, it's just a scene, there are some physical attributes that might be really helpful to you as you start breaking apart how you're going to play it. So these are all about the character. First of all, clearly the character's age, the character's gender, the character's body type, height, weight, attractiveness level. Sometimes the character is defined as, not that they would never say ugly. they wouldn't. It just wouldn't be in a breakdown. But there might be something in the way that they present themselves to others that could be useful for you as you're reading the script. Here's another physical attribute, the way the person walks. I don't know about you, but in early acting classes, right? Acting 101, it was like trying and sharing a variety of ways that people walk. First of all, by observation, and then, of course, when you kind of are coming up with some funny, interesting ways that a person might walk, it really was a lot of fun. So there was a purpose to that when we were in Acting 101. And now you can kind of think about some of those physical attributes, and walking can certainly be one. Hair color and style. How does that person present themselves? Their attributes. Sometimes there are just some physical attributes that are asked for in terms of casting that would be really important for you to make a decision about. Now we get into other, I put this in the physical category because I think it's pretty much, much more of a physicality, as well as, the other emotional and other. But I think I just put this in a category just for ease of understanding, the person's heritage, their background. Are they a person of color or not? Rest assured that a breakdown will be very specific and very clear about what is being looked for in terms of a person's heritage. There's also disabilities, or perhaps there are some abnormalities. Maybe there are some distinctive characteristics that you haven't thought of, or maybe there are some that you have thought of that I just did not mention in this group. But thinking about how the physicality of your character behaves and demonstrates can really contribute to choices you make as an actor. All right, let's move on from there. So that was the physical attributes. Now let's talk a little bit about mental attributes. Now, mental attributes clearly are the person's education level. Maybe you would think their IQ is important. Is that person an introvert? Is that person an extrovert? Are they verbal or nonverbal? Are they quiet? Do they have any mental abnormalities? Or are they brilliant? Are they analytical? Are they engaged? Are they an underachiever? Are there others that are not mentioned? Once again, when you can break down mental attributes that the character possesses, you get additional insight and ways in which you can make interesting choices on how you're going to play the part. Let's move on from there and let's talk about the emotional range of your character. Is that emotional range something that should really be considered? And most of the time, the answer is yes, as you track a character through a long story. But even if it's a very short scene that you're auditioning with, you can come up with some emotional choices that feel right and are interesting for you. Is that character centered? Is that character sane? Logical? Is that character detached or withdrawn? Are they unpredictable? Are they loving, empathetic, caring people? Or is your character cold or angry? Or perhaps the other side of that, happy, gregarious, beaten, competitive? That's a good one, I think. Sad, pensive, bitter? Or is there another mental trait that the character you've been asked to play is showing that I have not mentioned? That is something that you can put down on your list as well. I clearly am not giving a definitive list of every one of these areas. I'm giving you an idea about how to investigate getting the concept of these attributes that these characters are playing. So now, once you've applied decisions within these three groups, it's now important to apply a range number, numbers 1 through 10, in order of importance to your way of thinking and feeling how the character should be played. Now, once this is done, you have raised your awareness for making really instinctual choices for the role. Like I said, there's also not just one trait, not one emotional mental condition. There are several mental, physical, and emotional traits that combine together. Because why? Humans are complicated folks. And so every character you interpret could benefit from screening these choices, these physical, mental, and emotional choices for the layers and uniqueness that is exciting to see when executed by your talent. And so as we look at this list, as we start applying some of these choices, I would literally take some of these attributes that the character has, I would write them in the margin of my script, and I would just try them on for size. See if they fit. See if it creates an interesting series of choices for yourself. And if that's the case, you have now solidified a really interesting concept about your character. And after all, the uniqueness that is your character and the uniqueness that is you need to go hand in hand in order to make for a successful acting moment, or moments, as the case may be. All right, next week, part 2 of our series, we'll talk about next week, part 2 of our series, we'll talk about another kind of character worth evaluating. Namely, you. Your own. Stay tuned. This is Casting Actors Cast. I'm casting partner Jeffrey Dreisbach. We'll see you next week.